darkest dungeon. Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Hello everyone, my name's Blake, and welcome to Darkest Dungeon, a game that does not like to be recorded. Boy, this gave me problems. Anyway, if you're new to this game, it is a turn-based RPG made by Red Hook. It's currently on Steam Early Access right now for $20. The game's not finished, however, after putting in more than 40 hours, in my opinion, it's well worth it. The game can be really fun and addicting, however, it's also really demanding and punishing. What makes it so is that most of your actions in the game are permanent, so if you go into a dungeon with your characters and one of them dies, they're dead forever. They're gone, their abilities are gone, their items are gone, and should they manage to make it out of the dungeon, more likely than not, they're going to be insane, because every character has a sanity meter, and once those things start filling up, really crazy shit happens. So I'm just going to start a new game and share what little I've learned so far. I'm in no way an expert, I'm still learning the game as I play it, and I'm going to fuck something up at some point. So if anyone has any helpful tips, feel free to leave them in the comments. And hopefully this game won't drive me insane, and if it does, well, let's at least hope it's entertaining. Here we go.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
I absolutely love the line, "There can be no bravery without madness." Also, the narrator does an amazing job in this game. So here we go. Pop up. Okay, so I'll briefly go over what we're looking at here. This is the in-dungeon view. This is most of the game. These are your characters, Reynold and Dismas. You can right-click on them to see their stats and all their abilities. I'll go over these more in depth here in a second, but first I have to change something. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so what are we looking at? First, over here, this is your objective. Find your way to the hamlet. And you can click on it and turn it on or off. Whatever. Over here's the torch. As you go through the dungeons, you're going to have to keep burning torches. The brighter the torch is, the easier the enemies will be to kill, and the more likely you'll be to surprise them. The darker the torch gets, the harder the enemies are going to be to kill, but you'll find better loot. So you can kind of play around with that to see what kind of loot you can get and how difficult you really want to make the game on yourself. But it's pretty difficult already, so I'm just going to keep it above 50 usually. Anyway, down here in the corner is your map. This is really important. This is how you navigate through the dungeon. This is the tutorial, so there's only 2 rooms. Dungeons are going to be broken up into rooms and hallways. You'll go through clicking on each room. You have to travel through the hallway and go into the room. You can't go backwards. The torch on the map is where I'm at, and this is the only other room I can go to. Over here are your character's abilities and attacks. So if you click on them, they'll change. Down here are their items and their stats. And if you click right here, it'll switch you over to your inventory. Right now I just have food, so no real need to look at that. In most dungeons, you'll have a group of usually about 4 characters. You only start with 2 in the tutorial. But they'll be lined up 1, 2, 3, 4, and each character will be better in a different position than others. So the Crusader is better in the front, and if you hover over the moves, all of his different attacks, it'll show where he needs to be to use it and where the attack will hit. In a lot of RPGs, you can decide to put characters in the front row, back row, what have you. In this game, though, it can be the entire fight, because some characters can't do anything from certain spots. Like, you normally wouldn't want your medic in the front row. She can't heal, and she'll just probably take damage. Likewise, the Crusader, if he's in the back row, he can't do anything. So that's where a lot of the strategy and luck will come into the game, because you're going to find enemies that are going to rearrange your characters, and your characters can also be surprised by enemies, and you will start out of place. But anyway, let's continue on, and I'll just kind of explain as we go.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Alright, so to move, you just click in front of your characters. We're moving up.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Yeah, okay, see. Yes, thank you. Okay, see, so my Crusader just got knocked back. So I can either attack, if I use this it'll attack, or I can switch spots with him. Since it's just one guy, I'm just going to attack him. And he's bleeding, that's great.
As the fiend falls,
nice.
A faint hope blossoms.
Okay, so these are items in the background that you can interact with. This is how you'll find a lot of your loot. You just click on it, and you can either ignore it or check it. So this one gave me loot.
Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
But more often than not, it's going to be a trap. So, let's go through here.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
Okay, so this guy's a heavy, so he takes up 2 slots. And with big characters like that, it's usually good to try and kill them quickly. Hold on, let me take that back. With all enemies in this game, it's good to kill them quickly. Smash his face. No? Nothing? Okay. So you can see I caused bleed damage. Oh, that's not good. Damn it! And I'm bleeding. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, I caused and now have bleed damage. There are 3 major status effects you want to look out for: bleed, blight, and stun. Bleed and blight do damage to your characters over time. Stun makes them lose a turn, which can be very useful. So I'm gonna try and shoot these guys. This guy has a move that lets me target all of them, so bam. Didn't do a lot. Not great. Alright, Oscar. Bring the pain. Damn it. Well, this isn't going great. I forgot to mention, if you hover over the enemies, it'll show you their name, their HP, their stats, and what they're resistant to. But I need to kill him quickly.
The bigger the beast,
It's pretty quick.
the greater the glory. A devastating blow.
Alright. Nope, not one shot. Quit bleeding. Seems appropriate to say the first time I played the tutorial, one character died and the other one went insane. Luckily, that didn't happen this time. And that means I completed the tutorial. Yay. I can check out this box, but it even says it's a trapped chest. Something doesn't quite look right with this, so I'm going to ignore it. Actually, fuck it, I'll check it, because I don't think he'll die. Oh no! Well, he's poisoned, but it's not going to matter once I leave. And a torch.
The
for
way
no
is
reason.
lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Okay. So here we go.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Okay, so this is what you'll see after you finish the dungeon. It'll give you a recap of everything that's happened in the last week. In this game, one dungeon takes 1 week, so if I went and did a dungeon, came back, it would say week 2 up here. Quest goals are all the bosses. There's 9 of them right now. Over here you have your characters, and that's about all we need to look at on here. Great. So this is the town. Most of it's still locked off because we just started. All I have access to is the stagecoach, which is where we'll get new units, and the graveyard, which is here to remind you of all your failures.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
It's pretty good. And over here's the stagecoach.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses, all will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Okay, so this is where you'll get new units. Units are free, which is good because most of them will die. So she's a medic. You can right-click on their pictures to see what they have. But right now they're the only 2 available, so I'll just take them both.
Sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
So she's a medic, and she is a plague doctor. A plague doctor is good for poison attacks. She also has some limited healing. She's not super great. You can click over here, and this is how you'll upgrade all your buildings. Increase the size of my roster, increase the number of available heroes. I'm going to click that one.
Great heroes can be found even here, in the mud and rain.
Okay. We're going to go back. Okay, sorry, I had a brief interruption there, but I'll quickly go through and talk about each of the character classes that I have and what they're good for, and then we'll just jump into the first dungeon. Crusaders are your most dependable tank, and later they can unlock healing spells. Dismas is a highwayman. Highwaymen are good in the middle ranks, and they have long-range attacks and bleed attacks. I really like the highwayman class. She's a plague doctor. Plague doctors have poison and stun attacks and some minor healing attacks, but all in all I don't tend to find them very useful once you get some of the later classes, but you have to use them in the beginning. And this is the Vestal. The Vestal is one of the most important classes in the game because she's your medic. She should be in the back row healing all day, every day. Vestals can also unlock some really useful stun attacks too. We'll quickly go through what she has. This is a healing ability. It'll heal one character for 3 to 5. This is a ranged attack, this is her melee attack, and this is a debuff move. This ranged attack also heals herself if she lands it. Poison attack, stun attack, healing, and that's a shuffle attack. The healing's the most useful because that one can cure blight and bleed. He has a long-range pistol shot that's only good in the back ranks. This is one of his best abilities. It's Grape Shot. It can hit the front 3 ranks, but it has a negative 50 damage mod, so doesn't necessarily do a lot of damage. And this is his bleed attack, which is one of his most useful attacks. And then Oscar up here, this is his regular melee. This is a ranged debuff attack. This is a stun attack, which is really good. And it looks like he's the only character on my team right now that can stun. And this is a buff. So, now we got that out of the way, let's jump into a dungeon.
A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
So this is your overworld. These are the 3 available areas. The Darkest Dungeon and the Cove haven't been added in yet. We have to start here in the ruins. This is your goal, so I have to complete 100% of the room battles. That's not counting battles in the hallways. Here's your rewards. This is where you set up your team. So let's go ahead and plug them in. I love how they talk to you.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
Okay, so this is the shop where you'll get all the stuff that you want to take with you into the dungeon. First thing right here, it says you should bring at least 8 food and 4 torches. Torches obviously are for light, so for shorter dungeons I usually take about 6. Food's very important. It has 3 functions. You can use it to heal your units outside of battle. As you're going through the dungeons, your units will get hungry, and if you don't have at least 4 food to feed them, they will take damage and sanity damage. And also you use food when you go through the camping segments, which we'll get to later in the game. For right now, I think I'll be alright with... yeah, 8 will be fine. And then a shovel. Always bring a shovel. We'll see why at some point. Yeah, here we go.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Okay, so we're in the dungeon. You can right click to drag around the map, or you can zoom in and out, or you can click this and it'll center you. So I need to complete 100% of the room battles, so let's go here first. What do we got? Fuck. Oh,
Curious
great.
is the trap maker's art, his efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
So we got the torch. Nice. Anything in here? Nothing. Complete waste of time. Great. Okay, so we're back to this room. Let's see what's in the next one. I'm gonna have to fight something, aren't I? Nope, books. Nothing great. What's in here? Treasure. Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, I'm aware of the torch. Here we go! Okay, they're surprised. So that means I go first. Try and hit all 3 of them. Okay, it's not bad. Sure, poison them. See if it does anything. Hey, alright. Whiffed it. And you just, go for a kill. Or not a kill. Ow. Sure.
As the fiend falls,
Hey, alright.
a faint hope blossoms.
Yeah, their attacks can do bleed damage also. God damn it!
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Alright. Last one, come on.
Press this advantage.
Nice.
Give them no quarter.
And as your enemies kill people, they recover sanity. Alright, let's burn a torch. Let's burn another torch. Keep on moving. Nothing? Nothing. Next room. Okay, so here I'd have to eat. And if I didn't have food right there, I'd take damage and my dudes would go crazy.
Ambushed by foul invention.
Okay, keep moving. Do I have a fight? No fight. Okay, scouting. That's good. So you see how I just said scouting? Whenever you enter a room and your torch is above a certain number, you have a higher chance of seeing what's coming. You'll have a higher chance of seeing what's in front of you. Sure, burn it. Okay. So, traps. You can disarm traps if you see them. Certain characters have a higher chance of disarming traps than others. I believe the Highwayman and the Grave Robber have the highest. I could be wrong about that. Nothing but ashes. Nothing but ashes. Okay. That wasn't too bad. These guys cause bleed damage, and she's dangerous because she can do this and her thing. Okay, so she could have pulled her forward and really ruined my day.
Reeling.
Instead, they'll just shoot her and kill her.
Break.
Jesus, already? Hey, you got skeleton poison. Heal yourself. Okay, come on, Oscar. You can do better than that. Shoot him. Nice. This isn't going too terribly unless they kill her. God! Oh, wow. She is hurt. Man, all of your moves kind of suck. Why don't you try healing? For 1 HP. Oh, man. Not a fan of Plague Doctors. I think their design's awesome. They're just not that useful.
Such a terrible assault cannot be
Yeah, that's
left
fine. As
unanswered.
long as you can soak up damage and they don't shoot the medic, then I'm okay. Done. Come on. Huh? No one's lost their mind yet. Heal yourself. Heal her also. Kill him. Yeah, okay. Whew.
This expedition at least promises success.
Okay, so now we get the chest. Heirloom chest. Trapped? Nope. Awesome.